Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, August 5th, 2016. I'm Sharon Garraway with the details. The 4 confirmed adult male cases of Guillain-Barré syndrome and now one has now been given a clean bill of health. One has been given now a clean bill of health in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment in pressing forward with efforts to keep the nation healthy. The condition, which is suspected to be related to Zika virus infection, has been affecting persons in tropical region. The Ministry of Health, in a press release issued today, reminded all Vincentians to avoid being bitten by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. They explained that this is the known cause vector for the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue fever, and advised persons to use insect repellents containing DEET and wear long garments. The ministry also urges the general public to get rid of all mosquito breeding sites in and around the homes and workplaces by securely covering or overturning any containers holding water. Place fine mesh over vents or septic tanks and clear gutters and roofing spoutings. Guillain-Barré syndrome, GBS, affects the nervous system of the body and can result in weakness and even paralysis. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment says it will continue to support and monitor pregnant women who have been tested positive for Zika. And the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment is also reminding persons that it continues to offer further information on how to receive a yellow fever vaccine related to travel within the region. Another media release issued today by the Permanent Secretary, Louis Deschamps, stated that persons over the age of 1 year arriving in St. Vincent and the Grenadines from countries listed as having risk of yellow fever transmission and travelers having transmitted through an airport of a country with the risk of yellow fever transmission greater than 5 hours will require a yellow fever vaccination certificate. A yellow fever vaccination is recommended for travelers from SVG aged 9 months or older traveling to countries with a risk of yellow fever transmission. The countries of the region with risk of yellow fever transmission are Argentina, Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, French Guiana, Guyana, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, and Venezuela. In more news, 40 public health volunteers of Beckway will begin training in methods of mosquito control when the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment commences its public health volunteer program on Monday. Senior Public Health Officer and Supervisor of the Vector Control Unit, Todd Lewis, explained to SVG-TV that the volunteers will be exposed to training in areas such as mosquito biology, anatomy, their breeding sites, and other measures of control used by Vector Control Department.
So basically, at the end of 1 week, the volunteers going to be able to identify mosquitoes and identify their breeding sites, as well as having information on the mosquito, the biology and everything, how quickly they breed and so on and so forth. So that's the whole aim behind the program. So they're going to assist us within the Ministry of Health in eliminating these breeding sites. And we're going to do a lot of physical control. So instead of just information, we're going to actually do physical work where we're going to seal septic tanks, we're going to mesh drums, etc. We're going to turn over and destroy containers that can be destroyed, and these kind of things we're going to do. As well as we are going to have a sensitization session as well. So persons will be, while some will be doing looking for breeding sites, house inspections, others will be giving information to the general public.
Lewis revealed that Beckway had the highest percentage of Zika virus infections in SVG, and this had prompted the decision to hold the first training program on the island.
We started a project in Beckway. See, in Beckway, usually roughly 75% of the cases are in Beckway that we have in St. Vincent and Grenadines. So we find it best to start in Beckway with the work. So what we're doing, we run a simulation in where we realize that about 40 persons, 40 volunteers will be able to cover the entire place along with the vector control workers within the 2 week span that we're going to do work on the intervention. So approximately 40 persons will be trained down there between the ages of, 15 years old and beyond. So there's no age limit from the major side, but the minor side must be 15 years old.
Lewis advised that the entire program will seek to recruit 500 persons as part of a proactive rapid response unit able to respond quickly on public health issues.
Big project is the whole idea is to have a recruitment of between 300 and 500 persons in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So when they are trained and certified, because at the end of the training period, they will be given a certificate. So the whole idea is to, every time something comes along, we need to activate these persons. We will already know who we have and how we're going to execute the plans that we have. Instead of always having emergency responses, we would already have planned responses along the way, because we would now have trained persons in the community who can help us carry out the vector control measures. So, and it's a program that is now starting, but we hope to continue in improving this program, because the whole aim behind everything is to renew primary health care. That's the whole thing. So we can have more presence in communities in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Not just when something happens, but all year round we can have a presence in the community.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has denounced claims of bias in the election of members of the Cybercrime Bill Select Committee. The Prime Minister's comments came on Thursday on a local radio program in response to DRP leader Anicia Batiste's comments that the Select Committee appeared to be biased, as the Prime Minister, his son, Camilo Gonsalves, Senator Julian Francis, and on occasion, the PM's wife, Eloise Gonsalves, attended Select Committee meetings. Dr. Gonsalves, who serves as chairman of the Select Committee, said Batiste's remarks were ludicrous and that all meetings held by the Select Committee were attended by a diverse cross-section of persons. He noted persons on the Select Committee must be parliamentarians, and therefore talk of biasness was simply absurd.
All the relevant public servants would be there. People from the Attorney General's chambers,
yes,
for example. And at different time, different ones of them, but of course, certainly the Attorney General and the principal draftsperson.
Okay.
Then the Office of the Director of the Public Prosecutions, there. Camilo, as Minister of Information, invited a wide cross-section of persons, including people from telecommunications providers, Digicel, Lime, informed all the media houses. He advised me. The president of the Bar Association is there.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister added that while persons had been invited to sit on all meetings and the committee was open to every individual's view and concerns, some were acted upon otherwise.
So you may be invited to be there and you express an opinion, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that opinion is going to carry is going to be the opinion which is going to be reported to Parliament as the opinion of the committee.
Exactly, right.
For instance, different members of the different invited persons will be sitting along with us. Some of their suggestions have been accepted, some have been refined, some have been not accepted. You know,
right.
And in that process, this common bill which has been, which many countries in the region have passed, many parliaments, we are refining it in our own circumstances.
The Select Committee is said to be comprised of Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves as chairman, Minister Camilo Gonsalves, Attorney General Judith Jones-Morgan, Minister Sabota Caesar, and Senator Julian Francis. The opposition party was invited to nominate someone to be present but failed to do so. Opposition leader Arnhem Eustace, while speaking on the New Times radio program earlier today, outlined the plans that both himself and his party are undertaking, including traveling to different communities this weekend to outline their position on the cybercrime bill.
So I'm asking people to keep their eyes open. We'll be coming around and starting tomorrow, and we'll be doing other activities during the week, which all will concentrate mainly on that particular issue. Of course, there are the issues which people want to bring up, but our focus for the week to come, the next few days, 6-7 days, will be on this bill.
Eustace noted his concern on this particular piece of legislation and stressed his unwillingness to accept any apparent encroachments on freedom.
The economy is doing poorly. We have an airport that can't open. And these are things. We have people going ahead with their industry in bananas and so on, and ours at a standstill. The whole place is in a mess. And now you come to restrict freedoms even further. And that we will not accept.
True.
That we will not accept. Representative Leacock could tell you some of the discussion we had this morning, because we are very concerned about this particular piece of legislation. And this goes at a time when generally there is a concern about the state of our economy and the realities in relation to the airport.
The opposition leader then encouraged persons to join him and his team on the 11th to fight the bill, as it is their business, life and freedom that stands to be affected.
And now that our appeals and the petitions have been filed, they've gone to the appeals court. I'm looking forward to the continuation of the efforts in that regard. And I want to encourage people to join us on the 11th when Parliament meets in Kingston. I want people to join us on the 11th when this bill goes to the Parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
According to President of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, the recent issue surrounding the barring of educator Josette Bibi Bowen from leaving the country was designed to bring embarrassment to both the profession and teacher. In an interview with SVG Television earlier today, Robinson noted that while there are two limitations which prevent an individual from leaving the country, neither were applicable in Bibi Bowen's case, and which was barred from departing St. Vincent and the Grenadines by immigration officials on Tuesday, 2nd of August 2016, after being advised by a stop order that her name was on it despite being granted permission to leave the country by the Public Service Commission. She was later allowed to board the flight. Robinson added that since permission was given to Bibi Bowen to leave the state, the incident was clear infringement of the teacher's freedom of movement.
Once the Service Commission gave you the permission to travel, that means nobody should interfere with your movement because you would have absorbed what is written in the civil service regulation. So I believe this thing was designed to bring an embarrassment on the teacher and on the teaching profession. And probably somebody somewhere is trying to provoke a response from the teachers union. That's my analysis of the situation, because if the Service Commission gave her the permission to leave the state, that's one. The Constitution says you're free to move in and out of the country. And your movement in and out of the country is not a threat to the state, and the state has not declared a state of emergency. Then it's a clear violation of your fundamental right of freedom of movement.
SVG-TV News also contacted the Service Commission Department, and they confirmed that Bibi was cleared for flight and are investigating the matter. Meanwhile, in an interview with SVG-TV News, Vice President of the Human Rights Association, lawyer Israel Bruce, also expressed his displeasure at the way Bibi Bowen was treated at the airport.
Ms. Bibi was charged. The charge was withdrawn against her. But during the currency of her charge, there was stop notices apparently placed at all ports of entry and exit. But while the charge or charges were withdrawn, apparently the stop notices were never removed. So Ms. Bibi was faced with the embarrassing situation at the airport when she tried to leave the country because they were unlawfully in place still. Because the moment the charges were removed, those notices were to have been nullified. So the woman didn't have to face that embarrassment when she gets to the airport.
The St. Vincent Electricity Services Limited, VINLEC, has embarked upon a solar PV project where solar panels amounting to 570 kilowatts of energy were installed at the company's Kane Hall and Lomans Bay locations. VINLEC's Manager of Engineering, Dr. Vaughn Lewis, highlighted that the project, which was designed, procured, and installed completely by VINLEC, is aimed at reducing the company's fuel bill, and he is satisfied with the project's progress thus far.
A baby step, if you want to call it, but we hope it will lead to more solar installations eventually on the mainland and in the Grenadine Islands, as we have been able to prove that it's a financially viable solution. It can compete in terms of energy production with the traditional generation sources, and it helps to reduce our fuel bill. There are few resource challenges that occur when you do that because, you know, it's an additional job on top of our usual routine jobs that we do, our maintenance jobs, our operational jobs. But I'm proud to say that our staff has the capability and have demonstrated it very well.
Digicel St. Vincent and the Grenadines on Friday, July 29th launched their back-to-school component of its Bring the Beat summer campaign. The telecommunications giant will now offer thousands of dollars in scholarship to Vincentian youth. The back-to-school promotion allows customers to receive a brand new Digicel backpack with every purchase of specially priced smartphone on selected days of every week up until August 31st, 2016. In addition, Digicel will be rewarding scholarship grants to deserving Vincentian children. During the month of August, both prepaid and postpaid customers are being encouraged to text the short code 1130, the name of their child, and why and where he should be rewarded a Digicel scholarship. At the end of the promotion on August 31st, the most deserving and needy child will be selected to receive financial boost from the telecommunications provider. According to Digicel's marketing manager, Daniel Cupid, the 2016 summer campaign was strategically designed to not only allow Digicel customers to win thousands of dollars in cash, but also to ensure that the nation's children are equipped to start the new school year.